Okay, long time no sit down video, okay, but we are doing one today. I tried doing this with a microphone, but for some reason this mic isn't working. So yeah, so what prompted me to do this video is actually because of what someone told me while we were coming back from the library. So long story short, the lady who lives here, her mom also came around the time when my mom came, and the grandma was meeting up with my mom. Okay, they had a place, like they had a special place where they would, sit down, have a chat, gist about everything about Australia, when you can relate with somebody. So I just felt like, yeah, two grandmas looking after their grandchildren in a foreign country. So the lady also came from, I can't remember where exactly she came from, but somewhere in Asia. So long story short, so I was coming back from the park or from the library with the kids, and then as I was bringing the kids out of the car, so this grandma came and she greeted me. We greeted each other. So my kids were just running around the car, and I was like, okay, go inside now. So this lady, or the grandma, asked me, do you allow your kids to play in the compound sometimes? Do you allow them to run around and play? And I was like, hell to the no, like we don't do that here. First of all, there's you don't want them to get hit by a car or anything. And secondly, it's not just the culture here for kids to, run around in the compound. So where kids play here is at the park or, playground or whatever, but not in the compound, where everyone else is living. So, and the woman just looked at me and she was just like this, and she was like, that if it was where she lives, if it was back home in Asia, that kids would run around, play with each other in the compound. And I could relate to that because where I come from as well in Nigeria, kids play around the area, not just the compound. They go to another street altogether to go and play with other kids. But here, like, no one does that. So the woman was like, so this grandma was like, oh, that here she found out that here in Australia that people don't let their kids play. They don't let their kids go into another person's compound. They don't let their kids go into another person's house. They don't let their kids freely play with other children, and that makes her sad. I was like, okay. She was like, the way she was talking about it, she was like passionate about it, like I could tell. And I remember just feeling a bit sad, or like, because I was telling my kids, okay, go inside, playtime is over, go inside. I remember feeling a bit sad. I was like, okay, am I doing something wrong? That kind of feeling. I'm like, okay, are my kids missing out? Like, is it? She just thought I was busy here. See how she sneaked out with my whole bag because there's candy inside here. Hey, when did you learn that one? Yeah, if it was before, when she sees me doing the video, she'd be screaming out. But this time, see how she just walking like a mother. You let me just give you small, and you share with your sister, okay? She don't even want to carry one. No, she carried the whole bag.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Go on. I felt sad, not just for myself, I felt sad for my kids. I was like, are they missing out on anything? Like, obviously they are still very little, like they can't, at this point they can't even express their emotions, okay? Aura is beginning to do that. Sometimes she'll tell you, oh, I'm sad, but when you ask her, okay, why are you sad, she cannot really explain more than using two words, okay? She'll just say, okay, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I want water, simple expressions like that. So I just remember feeling a bit sad. I was like, are my kids really lonely? See, I try to take them out. You guys already know, I try to take them, places. We go to the park, we go to playgroup, we go to library, we go to a lot of, all these places. But still, that made me feel like, are these kids missing something? Like, are they lonely? Are they missing something? What are the impacts? Like, I know that loneliness is a big topic when it comes to living abroad in general, not just living in Australia. Living abroad in general, you feel that loneliness from time to time. But it just got me thinking, like, what are the impacts, especially on kids? This is why I cannot do see that video. All this, you just get
Thank you so much, Mommy.
You're welcome. Anyways, guys, so yeah, I know that loneliness is very common when it comes to living abroad in general, but the impact is what I don't know, especially on kids, African kids living here, Nigerian kids living here. Are they really? That's why I try to, let them know their culture, try to teach them their language so that they don't have that. Because one thing that I'm very scared of is them losing their identity or having that identity crisis. Of I've watched a movie like that talked about identity crisis. I think that movie was about, I think it's a real life story of someone who lives in London, a Yoruba boy who lives in London, and because he couldn't speak his language, I can't remember the name. Let me know if you remember the name of the movie, but it's very eye-opening. If you're a parent, I think you should watch that movie. I watched it a long time ago, even before I had my kids. So it talked about how a Yoruba boy who is raised in London could not fit in anywhere. So in London, people were calling him, all the racist stuff, right? So they were just bullying the guy up and down. And he could not even speak his language. He didn't know anything about his culture. So at some point, the parents were feeling bad and they were like, okay, we need to take this child back home so he could learn his culture. And then when he got to Nigeria, when he got to Yoruba land, he could not fit in either because he could not speak the language, he could not understand anything about the culture, and he was just totally lost, like he was depressed and everything. So it's a very sad movie, but I think every parent living abroad should watch that. So that from that day onset, I was just like, yeah, my kids need to at least know their language. They need to know their culture. The simple things about, oh, don't use your left hand, use your right hand to eat. Just little things like that teaches them about their culture. I'm so big on that. But anyways, I've digressed so much. Like, this video is all over the place, but I just needed to get this video out. It's just, these thoughts have been in my head for a long time and I decided to just share it. Anyway, so when the lady, when the grandma told me that, it was just like a time of reflection. Like after the conversation, she went ahead to, I think going for a walk with her grandson. And then I came inside with my kids. And that's when I started thinking, oh, I was just looking at my kids because I was telling them, go inside, you don't play here, go inside the house. I was just looking at them and I was feeling so bad. I was like, oh my God, am I doing something wrong? Are they missing out on anything? I know that they go to park, they go to all these places, but I don't feel like that is very... that I feel like they're still lacking that genuine human interaction. Sometimes I feel that way because even when you go to the parks, the parents wouldn't, allow their kids to, just willingly, or I feel like it's not organic. The interactions are not organic. When kids are playing in the park, for instance, the parents are always watching, trying to supervise. I feel like we are doing too much because, yeah, I didn't grow up that way, so I cannot relate. Back home, if you break your head, nobody is supervising. If you break your head, you come back, you get treated, okay? I'm not saying that's right, okay? But anyways, you get the point. So, but here I feel like we are walking on eggshells. People are always like, oh, be gentle, be respectful, don't touch her that way, talk to her nicely, do this, do that. I feel like we are doing too much, okay? I just feel like we are doing too much. That genuine human interaction is somehow missing. I feel like it's not organic. I feel like it's almost like forced, scripted, call it whatever you want, but that's not how I grew up, knowing how people interact. See, I don't know the neighborhood, apart from this lady or this grandma that I'm telling you guys about, right? I don't know other neighbors. I don't know what they look like. I don't know what they do for a living. I don't know their names. And there was an article I read about Australian neighbors or Australian interactions with their neighbors and blah blah blah. And this article said that 1 in 4 Aussies don't know their neighbors or don't interact with their neighbors. 1 in 4. That is massive. 1 in 4. So anyway, so that just got me thinking. Like, I was just having a lot of reflection, trying to see how I can do better. I don't want them to be half-baked children, like they don't know who they are, they have no identity, they are just floating like, Like, that's not what I want for my kids. But I know it is hard because the environment plays a crucial role. Okay, no matter how you try, the environment will always be environment, and they will always influence your children like heavily, massively. So all I can do as a parent is just to try and do my best. And that's where I feel like even having them at home with me, them not attending any daycare, is very good for them or good for us, because I'm able to teach them a lot of things, and I'm not just like giving them away and say, okay, whatever you do with them, thank you very much. So yeah, but I know that not everyone has that luxury of keeping their kids home with them and all of that. So that just kept me thinking. Like, I know that this video is probably all over the place, but I'm just like pouring out what's in my mind. I don't have any scripts I'm reading from, just like telling you guys what my experience was and what my feelings were. And I remember even when we were living in Sydney, there wasn't still that, you know, interaction with your neighbor or anything like that. The only neighbor I knew when we were living in Sydney was one neighbor that was very wicked. Okay, I knew the man because he was a wicked man. That's why I knew him, because everybody else would be minding their business. Like, highest scene, you just see them on when you're going to work and you're like, okay, hi, bye. You don't really see them very well. You see a glimpse of them in the car when you are driving off to work, or them you are driving back home, or so you don't really see them that much. You don't get to talk with them. Is it just me? Let me know, guys. Is anybody else experiencing this, or am I just an introverted awkward person? But yeah, like, I haven't had any neighbor that I'm very friendly with. I'm not trying to say be friends. You don't have to be friends with your neighbors, but at least that hi, you know, have conversations from time to time. That is lacking. Like, I cannot relate to that anywhere. I've lived in this Australia, and I've lived in 3 to 4 places now, and I haven't really had any neighbor that everybody's just busy with life and with whatnot. And where is the human interaction, guys? That's just what keeps ringing in my head. The only neighbor, like I said, I remember knowing is in Sydney, because the man, he was an old man, because he was mean. Yeah, I think I could call that meanness, or being mean. Yeah, because where we lived, we had like parking lot for everyone. It's a shared compound as well, like apartments, and then downstairs like we had parking slots. Like, it wasn't enough for everyone, obviously, but the man that I told you guys that was actually very mean to me, the man was a dry cleaner, and he had a spot, like a special spot where it says dry cleaners. He didn't really say anything that, like, he didn't say anything, but we knew that this is where the dry cleaner, you know, parks his car, because he had, before the incident that made me actually start calling him a wicked man, he told me already, because I parked in that spot one time, and he told me, oh, you're not supposed to park here because this is my spot and my spot alone. I was like, okay, thank you, now I know. And then one time I actually thought the man had gone home, because he didn't live in the same compound. He only was there for his business, which is dry cleaning job. By the way, that place where we lived is just like, it's so commercial. Like, there was restaurant downstairs, there was car wash everywhere. Like, it's a mess. Maybe I'll tell that story one day, but we've come a long way. Anyways, so the man one day saw me that I parked there again, and he came to me, and the way he was warning me, he said, next time I see you here, I'm going to call the police. Neighbor, waiting happened. I was just like nobody in this world had. That made me, I almost cried. I was so angry. You know when you are so angry but you can't do anything, and you just kind of mellow and want to cry? That was my experience. I was like, why is this man being so, like, I just parked there. The way he was warning me, like, next time, he was raising his voice, next time I see you here, I am going to call the police. It didn't pay me, but thank God we left that place. I cannot believe I have this whole house and this whole compound to myself. Like, that's one thing I love about living here. We have so much space now. Like, I'll dash you space. See backyard, see everywhere. Thank God for grace and growth too, because we saw Shege in that Sydney. That to God be the glory. Jesus is King. Okay. So anyways, yeah, that's just what I wanted to share with you guys. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know, have you had any encounter or any experience, any incident or whatever, when you felt sad for not having like for not interacting with your neighbors? Or do you feel lonely? Do you feel lonely? Like for me, I know, because I have my kids, it's not that lonely. Like I'm busy, I'm going somewhere. If I'm not working, I'm taking the kids somewhere, so I don't really feel like, oh, I'm bored, that kind of bored sort of loneliness. But the loneliness is more like psychological, emotional loneliness. Like physically I'm doing something and with my kids I'm running around, but I don't know, you guys. Let me know if you can relate to anything that I said here. And yeah, so that was my experience. And the lady was just, the grandma was just like feeling bad for me and my children. And I was like, okay. So that's it, guys. This video is too long now already, and I feel like I've just been talking about, just pouring out everything in my head without any sequence. But I hope you guys enjoy it. Hopefully I'm able to do more sit down videos, one-on-one chit chat with you guys. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye, guys. See my eyes, I'm so tired. When the world starts to unfold, through all the ups and downs, the highs and lows we share, we'll stick together.